right, Shannon. Speaking of cynical, are the Cowboys winning the offseason?
What does it matter about the offseason? We've come out here for even when you were on the old show, for 10 years in a row, who won the offseason? The Washington football team. They used to go by another name. And every year they spend hundreds of millions. They get Albert Haynesworth, and they get this quarterback, and they get this cornerback, and this, go back to Deion Sanders, and they win the offseason every single year. And every single year, what happens, Skip? Same thing with your Cowboys. Okay, yeah, they made some. I like the Brandon Cooks move because now I believe he's a number 2 receiver, legit number 2 receiver. Gallup gets to go back to his old role. You look at the season that he had when Amari was there, he played well. Mm-hmm. Now the expectations are a little lower for him as the 3 receiver as opposed to the 2 receiver. Mm-hmm. Okay, you get Dante Fowler. Considering where he was drafted at, he has underachieved in his career. Now, I'm not going to get a mega horn and say, oh, my God, the Cowboys re-signed Dante Fowler. Stop it. He's not Myles Garrett. He's not T.J. Watt. He's not Aaron Donald. He's a nice piece. He's a nice rotational piece for the defensive line that can rotate a lot of different guys and apply consistent pressure.
Hey, he did have 6 sacks playing a very limited role. You got to give him some credit.
I gave him some credit.
All right.
Considering he was the 3rd pick in the draft. And Skip, just think about what you just said. He did have 6 sacks as the 3rd pick in the draft. Mm-hmm. That guy we should be talking about him for potential Hall of Fame, not 6 sacks in a season. Okay, I digress. Stephon Gilmore, I like Gilly, but let me ask you a question. Can he make more plays than Dak can turn the ball over? What's the likelihood of Gilly going like Dak went a game? How many games did he go straight? 7 games where he turned the ball over at least once? You think Gilly can have 7 games where he has at least a pick? No.
He might have 7 games where he breaks up at least 1 pass.
Okay, breaks up a pass or turn the ball over. We know Dak went on a streak. You remember that streak he had, Skip?
Yeah.
He missed 5 games and led the league in turnovers. What do you think the likelihood of Stephon Gilmore missing 5 games and leading the league in takeaways? Not very good. So, look, you've added some nice pieces, but at the end of the day, this man has sat across with me for almost 7 years and told me the most important position. All the quarterbacks should be more valuable. When we have the top 100, we come out here and you're like, how's the quarterback 50? How's the quarterback 30? And now all of a sudden, because your team has made a few offseason moves, you over here just keying inside.
I am.
I know you are. But guess what you have? You've just spent the better part of 2 months trying to get rid of the guy. You say, Jerry, I know it's a big move, but why don't you just call Green Bay and see if they're willing to take problem for problem?
Trade him. Trade problems,
exactly.
Man. We'll take him. We'll take a shot.
But you still got him.
Yep.
Ronald Jones.
Ronald Jones.
So you want me to get excited about Ronald Jones?
I do.
A guy that could not get carries from Pacheco. He could not get carries from McKinnon.
Nope.
Or Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Tampa say, no, we saw enough of you. You got fumbleitis. And now you got him, and now all of a sudden you happy, you excited. You told me he had gotten the doghouse in Tampa. But now everybody, see, this is what I noticed about you, Skip, baby. You might not like somebody over there, but the moment they put that star on that helmet, oh, that guy, Ronald Jones, you know what he was there? Old Rojo.
Well, he's had almost 1,000 yards for a team that went to win the Super Bowl.
Rojo was like Cujo. He in the doghouse. That's what you said, Bruce Arians.
I'll take Cujo. I'll take him.
Okay. Skip, I'm not going to get excited about you guys. Look, the best pieces that you add, I like the Brandon Cooks piece because I do think it gives you a weapon, a deep speed weapon outside. Let CD work the slot, the middle of the field. And I like Stephon Gilmore because it gives you a bona fide, a legit guy on the other side that you don't have question marks opposite of Diggs, Trayvon Diggs. But I'm not finna get all upset because I already know what y'all gonna do. I'll tell you what, since y'all won the offseason, bet y'all don't win the East.
Okay, I'll bet that right
now. Look at it.
I will. I'll bet that. I'll take that bet right here, right now.
Right now.
I will.
Oh, so now all of a sudden you off the Jalen Hurts. You hear that? Oh, he was a Hurts fan in Alabama and Oklahoma, and I told you the Eagles' life would change when they got Jalen Hurts. And now you talk about Dak better than Hurts.
I got 10 cases right here, right now that my Cowboys win the East. I got 10. Will you take it? Going once, going twice, going...
I'll take it.
Thank you.
I'll take it.
Boom! Shannon Sharpe. I am getting such a kick out of this because it's such a kick in your pants. Here's the point that I believe you are missing. What's the old weather cliche about March comes in like a lion and goes out like a lamb? Comes in very cold and goes out starting to warm up like a lamb.
Yes.
Jerry Jones, March after March after March, does not march anywhere. He goes nowhere slowly. He comes in like a lamb and he goes out like a lamb.
Right.
All of a sudden, in a shock to me and to Bob Sturm and Cowboy Nation, Jerry Jones has come into March like a lion, and he has gone out like the king of the jungle. And he has done it while preserving his mantra, we build through the draft. You're still building through the draft because they have every pick left in every round. They have one pick in every round because they went out and made 2 blockbuster trades that required only an extra fifth, a comp or compensatory fifth rounder, and another extra compensatory fifth rounder. That's all they lost. They still have their own 5th round pick.
Right.
So Jerry just pulled off winning the offseason so far. We still got a little ways to go. Winning the offseason while still preserving the firepower that they have flexed so often in the draft, because you got to give them this. They do draft very well.
Yeah.
They swung and missed on Jalen Tolbert, which is why Brandon Cooks was such a big deal to go add. I don't know what happened, but they've hit on so many draft picks. See Tyler Smith, their first pick last year. I questioned it the day after because
Played really well.
I was like, what? Tyler Smith, and you left him on the table and him on the table? Tyler Smith was a revelation. And you can move him. You got all kinds of opportunities. You can move him back to left guard, or he didn't just survive at left tackle. I think he was really good at left tackle.
He acquitted himself well.
I mean, I think you could have made a case, though it's very hard to make a case, that he was an offensive player of the year rookie candidate, as a rookie offensive player of the year. Okay, so I trust them because I trust the people around Jerry, but Jerry's going to make the final decision on draft night. But I do trust them to mostly make the right picks and sometimes some great picks in the draft. Well, you just pulled this off without Jerry's anti-free agency. The last one was Brandon Yu's car that he plunged on, and you have to go back to, what was it, 2012? It's the last time he spent some big money in free agency. Well, he did not plunge in free agency. He spent pennies in free agency, and he didn't do it until yesterday. Yesterday, he made 2 pennies move because he got 2 bottom-of-the-barrel sort of bargain basement free agents. Ronald Jones made $1.5 million for Kansas City. They have not announced exactly what he got yesterday.
It's probably a minimum
but it's
deal.
1 year, but it's right there. It's like another, he got 1.5. And then they signed an offensive lineman named Chuma Idoga, who was drafted in the 3rd round by the Jets, played for the Jets in Atlanta last year. I know nothing about him. He's just a backup offensive lineman. But I do know this. Ronald Jones played at USC. Chuma Idoga played at USC. I like the pedigree when you get 2 USC kids because they were top recruits in college football and went to USC and played very well at USC and were very high draft picks because, remember, Ronald Jones was the 38th overall pick, so he was high in the second round. Okay, so do I think Ronald Jones is going to change life? I do not. But look, it was a big deal for Jerry Jones. He showed me something. He cut bait with Ezekiel Elliott, his son Zeke, whom he had dramatically overpaid when he was holding out in Cabo, running in Cabo San. Then he came back to Dallas, and he's still running in Cabo San. And for the next 3 years, he fell off, more off, and completely off to the very bottom.
Well, I think the thing is, Skip, a lot of people thought that Zeke could have easily gotten cut the previous year.
Well, he could have.
saw his impact decline.
Right.
So I don't think anybody thinks that's a big shock.
All right. So I got to quickly mention this.
Okay.
My man, Emmitt Smith. You know Emmitt very well. You used to know him very well when he was a player.
Yep.
All right. So I think this was a tweet, if I'm not mistaken. I think he tweeted about this. He blasted the Cowboys for cutting Zeke. And he said, our starting running back is gone, and his backup has a broken leg. He doesn't have a broken leg. He has an ankle issue. We're talking about Tony Pollard. But this is still Emmitt going on. He says, it don't make sense, and this is one of those things that make you shake your head. Thank you, Zeke, for giving everything you have, including playing injured all of last year. Okay, he always had something going on with the knee. Right. It was strained or it was somehow tweaked. But Shannon, you and I both know he hit the wall even harder than he used to hit holes. Mm-hmm. And he did die for the cause. He ran hard. Man, you want to talk about blasting the ball up the gut on short yardage, and he was still fairly effective on short yardage last year.
I think he had like 12 touchdowns, didn't he, Skip?
Okay, but here's the problem. I'm looking at carries last year. He got 231 carries to Pollard's 193, so that's plus 38 carries more. That's wrong. You know and I know that was wrong, and I kept pounding the table over here. You can't do that to Tony Pollard. Total touches, including the passes they caught. Zeke was still plus 11 on Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard had a breakout season last year, and then unfortunately in the playoff game, he got hurt. Is it career-threatening? They're saying absolutely not. He has now been franchise tagged. He's going to make $10 million, and I think he will continue to break out as a star next year.
Let me ask you this. Do you believe, so in other words, now that Zeke's gone, you believe Tony Pollard should be the bell cow back and Rojo should be the Tony Pollard on this team?
Absolutely. But here's what I know about Rojo. He gives you an honest day's work. He's a grinder. He's a pounder. He's a pro's pro. He just knows how to play the position, and he's not great, and he's not going to make the Pro Bowl, but they have that Malik Davis, and you like him because every time I see him, I say, wow. And they also re-signed Rico Dowdle. I don't know if he'll contribute at more than special teams, but he can run the ball. My point is, you now have a stable of backs behind a Tony Pollard, who is a flat-out home run hitter and catcher. Yeah. He can run it, and he can catch it and run it. So my point is, what's not to like? You don't think the running back room just got better? I mean, help me.
Yeah. I mean, Zeke. Well, the question is, Skip. Okay, is Rojo going to be your short down, your power back, the guy that plunges it in? Because Zeke was basically, short and goal at the goal line. He was getting the ball into the end zone. That was his role now.
Think of what happened to Ronald Jones. Okay, first of all, he's a star in high school at McKinney North High School, which is right there by the Star, where the Cowboys are headquartered in just north of Dallas. Right. Okay, so in Frisco, yeah. So he's a top high school recruit who goes to USC, and he's a pretty big star there. And I said he got drafted top of the second round. Okay, so he goes to Tampa, and in the one breakout season for him and them, they go win the Super Bowl, and he almost has 1,000 yards, and he was the feature back until the playoffs when it became playoff Lenny. Okay, and Fournette came out of nowhere, so then they go into the next year, and Leonard Fournette gets the vast majority of the carries. It's 181 to just 101 carries for Ronald Jones. Right. So it's not that he got doghoused. It's just that they said, we just rediscovered Leonard Fournette, who was the 4th pick in the draft.
Well, he did have some fumbling problems.
He did.
Remember, he
did. Oh, I got it.
Could have cost him some games. It didn't, but it could have.
Okay. So then he winds up. He's kind of shelved that year, and then he goes to Kansas City, and they have another revelation, Isaiah Pacheco. Well, you know and I know. We would watch him, and we'd say, my God, where did he come from? And you love McKinnon from the start.
Yeah, because he does a little bit of everything.
So all of a sudden, Ronald Jones is just stuck, and Edwards-Helaire was hurt much of the year, but all of a sudden, he's falling down to 4th on the depth chart. Well, I'll take it right now because you want to talk about fresh legs? You want to talk about fresh body? Ronald Jones is 25 years of age. Tell me he's not a steal at 25, a guy who almost got 1,000 yards for a Super Bowl team, to plug him in behind Tony Pollard or as a complement to Tony Pollard. Okay. And I still believe Tony Pollard can run between the tackles because I saw it a lot last year. So he can be your featured primary back. Well,
we're about to find out. Okay. Because you're about to get your wishes. You wish that Zeke didn't have as many carries. Zeke has been removed from the equation.
Okay, I got my wish here, and I think I will love my wish.
Skip, for me, when I look at Tony Pollard, I think he's a great in the role. I just don't know if you can give him 20 carries a game over 17 games or 15, he averages about 13 carries a game. Yep. I think that's 13 touches a game, and I think that's ideal for him.
Okay. All right. Now, we had 2 glaring weaknesses. We did not have a deep threat receiver, and I thought maybe Gallup would come back because he can sort of fool you. Mm-hmm. He can run by you because you're not quite ready for his long strides, but he couldn't come back quickly enough off his ACL. Right. He did get deep against San Francisco in the playoff game, and Dak completely missed him. So here we go again. Mm-hmm. But the point is, Brandon Cooks is a proven, legit deep threat who ran 4.3 at the combine. I know he's an older player, but he's still just 29 years of age. And you have to look at his pedigree because he was on back-to-back different teams that went to Super Bowls. So that's a good thing. And you got him for a 5th rounder this year that you don't need because you had an extra one, a 6th rounder next year. And Houston said, yeah, we'll pay $6 million of his $18 million. So he even helps against your cap. So you owe him only $12 million. That's a steal. Stephon Gilmore, I'm his biggest fan, but I've always said it on this show. I think he is the best corner in football as far as total package goes. Again, some of the kids, your kid that I wanted to draft. Yeah, I know.
Sauce Gardner.
I get it. Those guys, they're maybe more talented right now. They got younger legs. I get it. But you want to talk about playing with your mind?
Oh, yeah.
You want to talk about veteran savvy experience?
Yeah.
You want to talk about a future Hall of Famer? It's Stephon Gilmore. He's the perfect complement. He's the one I can trust on one side of the field because you know what happens with Trevon Diggs. He gambles and he misses and he hits. He gets smoked, he gets toasted, and he picks it off and runs it the other way.
Yes.
Okay, so what a beautiful bookend do I have? I've now got a legitimate Super Bowl style corner. Remember when Revis went to the Patriots?
Yeah.
Okay, late in his career, and he goes, and all of a sudden, they go win the Super Bowl with Darrelle Revis. Was he Revis anymore? Not quite, but he was still, he's like as solid as you can get, where you can just trust that side of the field. You're good.
Right.
You're good. Well, now we're good. And we used to be very not good because we were flammable over there because we had a parade of miss.
Can I ask you a question, Skip? Honestly, how many games do you feel you lost because of your defense?
You know, we could go back and forth. The Green Bay and the Jacksonville games, the defense did not exactly distinguish itself because they had big leads and they lost it. Now, a lot of that was Dak's fault, but some of it has to go on the defense because Aaron Rodgers suddenly heated up in the fourth quarter. We're up 28-14 in the fourth quarter. Well, you got to blame the defense some for that.
As he started to heat up, what did your quarterback start to do?
Well, he heated down.
Exactly. He started to cool in that Lambeau night. But when I look, you got some nice pieces. I like Brandon Cooks. I like Gilly. I'm just saying, at some point in time, what you came out here and said that Monday after that Sunday wasn't talking about defense. It wasn't talking about receivers. You was talking about one position.
Okay.
And he had a single-digit number.
He did, and I said I was done with Dak. And I still am psychologically, emotionally, I've cut bait with Dak Prescott. But here's the point. Just when I thought Dan Quinn was gone, surely this was the time after last year he was going to get a head coaching job.
No, he wasn't.
He didn't.
No.
Okay? He's back. He is the unofficial head coach of my team.
Right.
The energizer, the electrifier, the one they all look to for energy is Dan Quinn.
Right.
He's the one with his cap on backwards. Yep. He's the one who has a little youthful cool to him. He's the one who talks a big game and lives up to it with the defenses he calls. I think they could have the best defense in pro football next year because I'm going to point out to you, you realize that now they've re-signed everybody on defense. Their top 5 sack leaders are all back. Obviously, Micah is back, Dorrance Armstrong, DeMarcus Lawrence, Donovan Wilson, they re-signed, and I didn't think they could. And now Dante Fowler, they re-signed, and I wasn't sure about it. And Wolf Hunter's back.
Yes.
And don't let them, I'm going to throw this out.
No, don't let it.
Wait, don't let them. Guess who's still out there on the market right now?
Yeah, I know that. B-Wags.
B-Wags is still out there, and he loves him some Dan Quinn because he found himself. He grew up under Dan Quinn in Seattle.
Yes.
Well, again, Jerry would have to sweet-talk him into taking one for the team, for America's team. Would you come and play for America's team for a song? I don't know.
No.
You're probably right, but he's still sitting out there, and I will bet you right now, it could be that right now Dan Quinn's on the cell to him saying, hey, think about this. Think about what we could do together next year. Think about what defense. I could plug you into this defense. You could be the quarterback of this defense. You could take it over, and this team could win with its defense. If it's possible in 2023 to win with the defense, it's possible to win with this one. No? Okay, well, just, okay.
You already bet me 10 cases now, so
okay,
you out there. You put yourself out there now.
Hey, I got 10 cases on it because I love what Jerry Jones just did because we haven't even gotten to the draft night yet.
Right.
I'm going to say it again. don't let my team at 26 draft Dalton Kincaid. I'm on the record. The tight end from Utah, he's got a little bit of Kelsey. I'm not saying he's Travis Kelsey, but he's got that kind of swagger to him. He's got that kind of athletic ability. He's got that kind of, it's my ball, not yours. I'm going to go get it.
Okay.
He's perfect because we did lose Dalton Schultz, or he lost because he had $6 million on the table for 3 years. So we had $12 million a year on the table, and he got maybe up to $9 million with incentives to go play for 1 year for the Houston Texans. Okay, the joke is on him, but the joke will be on him double if we get another Dalton named Kincaid. That would be a sweet pickup. And look, if a Bijan Robinson, the running back from Texas, he's very special. If somehow if he falls, you just take him. It's like Zeke. That year you took Zeke over Bosa, and I just said, I thought it was Bosa, but you strengthen your strength. You just go ahead and take him.
So now, if you take Robinson, Tony Pollard goes back to the role that he had with Zeke, right?
No, you wouldn't have to. You just split the carries. You just try to save them both. You go 1-2, 2-1, 1-2, thunder and lightning. Hey, look, we're sitting pretty, man. This is all icing on the cake. You always talk about the cake. The cake is made. It just got made. Okay, are we stuck with Dak? Yes. I'm going to give you my cliche one more time. Rising tide lifts all boats. Okay? It could even lift the Dak boat. It could lift the Mike McCarthy boat.
Sometimes the rising tide sinks boats.
Okay, it can. But it can also lift all boats because I'm not a McCarthy fan. And now he ran Kellen Moore out of town all the way out here to L.A. to the Chargers. And he is going to call plays the way he did for, 13 years in Green Bay? Okay, I'll take it because the talent on this team could be so supreme that it can even win in spite of McCarthy and in spite of Dak Prescott.
I mean, think about what you just said.
Yep.
Two of the most important pieces of a football team.
Well, you could say the two most. I got it.
You're out on both of them, and yet you say because of the additions that you made and what you were last year defensively, that you good.
Okay, I'm pleasantly shell-shocked because usually Jerry does nothing. How many times have I pounded the table and say, would somebody please wake up Jerry Jones? Well, he is alive and well and kicking your tail.
No.
Yes, he is.
Oh, watch what Howie T do at draft night. Howie Roseman. He makes some deals, Skip. He make them deals. I don't know how we do it.
They've had a bunch of losses now.
Whoa.
Gardner Johnson just went to the Lions.
Hold on. Why you looking over there? Why you looking over the fence?
Because of the 10 cases we have on the table, I think they have suffered some losses, some key losses. I think they will fall a little back to earth.
They still got that high-powered offense.
They do.
Ooh, Jason Kelsey is back.
Miles Sanders is not back.
That's okay. They got Montgomery.
Yeah, okay. All right. Good luck. All right. Here we go. I love my chances, and I love what my chances are doing to you.
Woo. A.J. Brown going to be giving them that work. Devontae.
I got Brandon Cooks and CeeDee Lamb. I got the two best corners in football.
I love the swagger, Skip.
Oh, yeah, the two best. They jumped Howard and Ram.
Y'all are jumping out there early this morning. 10 cases. It is in ink. 10. It is in writing. Thanks for watching, Undisputed fans. Subscribe here to get the very latest from Skip and Shannon. Plus, go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.